Let's go. A day and a live stream that was going to be dedicated to an LSU icon returning home, Frank Wilson. We have one of the most destructive recruiting days that we can remember, not only with potential recruits coming in, but more notably, potential recruits coming out. So, obviously, right off the top, it does suck that Deion Smith hits the transfer portal, but the bigger story here, obviously, is Max Johnson entering the transfer portal. So I'll say this, full disclosure, I did get a text this weekend saying that there might be, or that there will be, some exoduses happening on this roster. This should not be a shock. This isn't a breaking news scoop. When a new coaching staff comes in with a brand new rule that you could go wherever you want, whenever you want, this shouldn't be a shock to any of us. However, it is shocking that Max Johnson is doing this. And I do feel some of this is Jake Johnson, because obviously Jake Johnson wants to enroll early. And if Jake Johnson wants to enroll early, he's got to sign on December 15th to 17th. And obviously, Jake Johnson and Max Johnson want to play together, which is part of the reason why I believe Max Johnson is entering the transfer portal now. So, of course, not only this happens, we also have Decoldis Crawford decommitting. And then, of course, once again, we go back to Deion Smith, who is a phenomenal receiving prospect. I do believe he ends up at Ole Miss. I think Lon Phillips reported that. And this is a new world of college football. If a player has the slightest bit of discomfort or they don't feel like they are getting their promises kept, they're going to pack their bags, and they should, because coaches do the same thing. But we shall see what exactly happens over the next couple of weeks. So obviously, for me, I cannot say this enough. LSU is going to be fine. However, we do think of the January 4th bowl game. What is LSU going to do at quarterback as far as that is concerned? You do begin to feel for Brad Davis as he heads into his first ever game as a head coach. So that's obviously, the big question here. Who is actually going to play in the bowl game? That's a great question because we don't know the answer to it. Now, I'm going to share something that's going to seem somewhat controversial, but it's not really controversial whenever you really think about it. I do feel that's not the tweet I wanted to share. This is what I wanted to share right here. Let me see. Share screen. Oh, okay. There we go. That's what we want. Boom. So there we go. There's Max Johnson's official statement. I do wish him the best. So, yeah, I've got to say this. I don't feel like Max Johnson's making a smart move here, especially if you want to go play with your brother somewhere at a major Division I school. Where is Max Johnson going to go right now where he's going to be able to start right away? There's nowhere in the SEC where that's going to be the case, especially in the SEC West, maybe in the SEC East, but I don't know where that's going to be. So I don't know what the Johnsons the in game is. I honestly think them trying to figure out who their offensive coordinator is going to be is probably a little frustrating. I will say this. Max Johnson was sitting basically front row when Brian Kelly made his initial press conference. And I think I saw Max Johnson in the initial Brian Kelly behind the scenes video, if that was Max Johnson. I'm just a little shocked. I am a little shocked that Max Johnson decided to do this. I'm not shocked by Deion Smith. There are snaps at wide receiver in the conference, particularly at Ole Miss, where Jack Besh and Brian Thomas Jr. are just better players than him. So, I totally get Deion Smith wanting to pack his bags and go somewhere else. Once again, we don't know what Garrett Nussmeier is going to do. I've got to say this again, guys. I do feel now really in retrospect that the Garrett Nussmeier situation was handled far worse than we could ever even imagine. I still don't understand what Ed Orgeron or the Nussmeiers were doing unless Garrett Nussmeier himself is also planning to enter the transfer portal right now. So once again, obviously, if you want to get your comment or question answered first, guess what? If you super chat, I go straight to it. Let me see. What's up, Paris? Good to see you. I knew he was gone after his family wasn't shown on TV after the Alabama game. Yeah, the Bama game definitely was huge for Max Johnson. And I do think mentally it really hurt a lot of people in the LSU building that LSU played well enough practically everywhere on the field outside of quarterback to win that game. And that does weigh on you psychologically as a player. There's no other way around it. So let's see here. Nuss doesn't want to lose redshirt for bowl game. 247 just tweeted that Miami is interested in Joe Brady as their offensive coordinator. I think that would be a pretty good fit with Mario Cristobal there, where Cristobal is not really an X's and O's guy. So Joe Brady would have more autonomy. I think that is something that offensive coordinators do weigh. And I also think that is part of the reason why this offensive coordinator hire is being held up just a little bit, because I don't know many offensive coordinators that would be gung-ho in sharing play calling duties with Brian Kelly, who as a head coach is a bit, not necessarily a control freak, but he is very hands-on with his quarterbacks and with his offense. Now, he is known for letting his play callers call plays, but Brian Kelly does heavily influence play calling. So let's see. Corey says, welcome to the channel, Corey. Walker Howard is coming, and he saw the writing on the wall. This is an interesting photo. There you go. Fireworks and everything. Johnson reminded me of Danny Entling, a game mama, or the manager type with a low ceiling. I do agree with that overall. But I also agree with this, okay? And the bottom line, to finish up on Noah's super chat here really quickly, I like Joe Brady a lot. I don't know if I love him for the LSU offensive coordinator opening. Let's see. The Master Blaster. What's good, baby? I'm so fired up, man. So let's see here. I want to stay on Max Johnson just for a little bit. I think there are some people that really wanted Max Johnson to stay. There are some of you as well that think Max Johnson got a raw deal, which I do agree with to a certain degree. But at the same time, it started to begin to pile up the mistakes and the misthrows to where you can't blame an offensive coordinator, can't blame an offensive lineman, you can't blame not having Kayshawn. He started missing just way too many throws. And part of it also is, I do feel Max Johnson was probably a little overrated coming in. As a junior, he completed 39% of his passes. I still couldn't believe that, but it's true. He had completed 39% of his passes. And then as a senior, his stats weren't unbelievable. So coming in, everything was there to say that Max Johnson was a lower ceiling quarterback. That still doesn't mean he's not an SEC winner. But at the same time, I do think the best case scenario for Max Johnson would have been Stetson Bennett, which at LSU, we're not looking for Stetson Bennett. We want a game changer at that quarterback position. So I am a little worried, though, about this quarterback position. I also think something that really hurts Max Johnson in this situation is that the bowl game is all the way in January. It's not an early bowl game. It's January 4th. That's a long time. And also part of it is if your heart is not into it during the bowl practices and you're going elsewhere, what's the point in you playing the final game? So, that's all there is to it. I understand that a lot of people want to pile on Max Johnson, but at least you can say Max Johnson showed up and he suited up and he stayed healthy and he did all the right things. It's not his fault that he wasn't ready to play. He was forced into action way too early in his development. He was always a year 3 guy, and we've only gotten to see him in year 1 and year 2 of his development. I still think he's very limited. I was a little shocked at how far off a cliff he fell during this season, but at the same time, he showed up. He won us a lot of games. This was a guy who had to carry too much weight on his shoulders with the inconsistent offensive line play, particularly getting the center blown into your lap every other play, and the heavy rotation at wide receiver, and the lack of smooth play calling, and the lack of having a defense that played the same exact coverage every snap. But I go through all the misses that Max Johnson also had. The 65-yard wide open touchdown versus UCLA, the late out route versus Auburn to Kayshawn that would have probably been a first down, the miss to Jack Besh on the zero blitz right over the middle on the crossing route. You couldn't have asked for anything better from a defense and an offense, and he sailed them. This now gets into the next topic here. What does Brian Kelly do? What is the next step for him as a head coach? Well, obviously he's going to have to hit the portal. I don't think LSU can go into next season thinking that Garrett Nussmeier and Walker Howard is good enough for a Division I quarterback room. That's unacceptable. You can't have 2 players with 3 total years of college experience as your quarterback room. And in essence, only 1. That's just not good. You got to find someone else. You do. So we'll see. I would take Quinn Ewers, but if you get Ewers, you'll probably lose Walker. That's true. That's true. So that's the thing. And there's no other way around it. This is also something else that's part of the Max Johnson conversation is if Miles Brennan never got hurt, Max Johnson would still be on the roster, battling for the starter quarterback job next year. So once again, the Miles Brennan injury is just colossal. And the fact that it was never asked of Ed Orgeron what exactly happened, and we still don't know from Miles Brennan what exactly happened, it's still wild to me that was never asked. Did it happen in a practice, or did it happen away from the field? The rumor is that it happened sometime in the offseason or leading up to the season. So it's whatever. I know it's in the past, but the bottom line is that injury really hurt LSU. And look, I know it's not quite the same, but it's kind of the same with, Ryan Perrilloux, where, his junior and senior year, which would have been Miles Brennan's junior and senior year, when you lose the guy that you groom and expect to be the starter, it can't set your quarterback room back because you're expecting someone to play that's too young and not ready. Not many quarterbacks are ready to play Division I football year 2. Now, the president of PHL, does Nuss burn his red shirt if he plays a bowl game? Okay? Yes, Max Johnson has hit the transfer portal. Yes. So Garrett Nussmeier loses his red shirt because it'll be his 5th game in the bowl. Now, once again, I can't say this enough. How badly the Garrett Nussmeier redshirt situation was handled, I will never understand it. To this day, it is one of the worst things I think I've ever seen, unless this one thing is true. Unless Garrett Nussmeier went to Ed Orgeron, or one of Nussmeier's people in his camp went to Ed Orgeron and say, look, we're not going to stay at LSU. Can you please preserve my son's red shirt? He doesn't want to stay at LSU. He wants to hit the portal. If that was the case, then Ed Orgeron handled this just fine. And that would have been really selfish on the Nussmeier's end, because if you go into the season thinking that you're going to be the backup quarterback, you better be ready to play when it's your time to play. But I don't think that's what happened. What I think probably happened was Ed Orgeron was thinking he was looking out for the best for the player, and it never made any sense. Garrett Nussmeier should have just played. It's not that hard. Quarterbacks, you don't get to choose when you get your opportunity to be the starter. It doesn't always just go the way you expect it to go. It's never always just a clean handoff from one quarterback to the other, right? Sometimes you are forced into action before you're needed to be forced into action. That still doesn't mean you can bail from that situation, right? So, the bottom line is Garrett Nussmeier, your best ability is availability. And when we really need Garrett Nussmeier, for some reason, for whatever reason, we wanted to preserve this red shirt when the red shirt doesn't matter. Because if you get beat out down the road, you can preserve your red shirt down the road. You don't have to just redshirt your freshman year. It's a big misconception. So, however that situation got handled, and Cliff, I'm glad you brought this up, it was horribly mishandled. Horribly. Because what if Max Johnson would have gotten knocked out versus ULM or Texas A&M? But we would have put in a walk-on, which we know we couldn't have won with the walk-on quarterback. Maybe Matt O'Dowd is Baker Mayfield. We don't know. But still. So, we'll see. Frank Wilson. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I'm excited about Frank Wilson. I am. Here's the thing. Finley had no tools, no toolbox, no way. You know what? I disagree with that. TJ Finley has a big arm. Obviously, the Alabama game wasn't great either year. But at least TJ Finley's available. At least he's there, okay? At least he gives you a chance. Now, we don't have anyone available. Now, TJ made the right move to transfer. I think it was the best move for all parties. We had no idea that Miles Brennan was going to break his arm. We had no idea that Max Johnson was going to fall off a cliff. And we had no idea that Garrett Nussmeier, given the golden opportunity to be a starter at the best or top 5 program in college football, says, I'm just going to wait when I'm ready. Doesn't make any sense to me. We got Frank Wilson back. Let's go. Find us another TM7. I'm glad you brought this up, Max. This is a big misconception about Frank Wilson, right? We always hear about Frank Wilson, and we always hear about the big guys, right? We hear about Tyrann Mathieu, Devin White, and this is what I was going to lead tonight's live stream with. We always hear about Tyrann Mathieu, Devin White, Leonard Fournette, these big recruits, guys that are 4 stars or better. And Tyrann Mathieu was it is, if you know. But what's interesting about Frank Wilson is this guy can really scout good players. So he was the primary recruiter for Duke Riley, Foster Moreau, Donnie Alexander, Elliott Porter, a lot of 3-star recruits that play big roles on big-time teams, right? Ronald Martin was another role player he got. So it wasn't just his ability to win out with 4- and 5-star recruits. Where he really made killed it was everyone. When he landed on so many 3-star, no-name recruits. Deion Jones was another one. I mean, he was a killer. He was an absolute killer. So yes, Odell, Mettenberger, a lot of the big names were huge recruits. But what makes Frank Wilson so daggum special is he's good at finding everyone. He's good at finding whoever can help this team win. And he obviously fills a huge hole in this roster left by Mickey Joseph as the New Orleans guy. So bottom line is Frank Wilson is a home run hire. You guys know I keep it as objective as I possibly can. But as many of you know, I am a huge Frank Wilson fan. I talked about him a lot during the McNeese breakdown earlier this year. You can go back and look. I did a whole tribute to Frank Wilson then. I'm really glad he's back. I did not think that was going to happen. But he's obviously going to get more money, and he's going to get back to doing what he loves, which is recruiting and being in Louisiana. His head coaching record just isn't that great. So maybe he's realizing, hey, look, I can go back to doing what I did better than anyone, which is recruit and build staffs and build rosters. So I'll say this. Frank Wilson coming back to LSU is a bigger story than Max Johnson leaving right now. I think what Frank is going to do for us is going to be huge. So I understand we keep it as honest as we possibly can, but it's okay to be a little bit of a homer about something that is a home run higher. Frank is back, baby. Let's go. Let's go. So it is going to be interesting, right? So DeColdis Crawford leaves. I think Frank Wilson's going to take care of business. And I do think there are a lot of good 3-stars that would be very interested in coming to LSU. So right now we don't have any wide receivers committed. Amarion Walker would be someone I'd be interested in out of Ponchatoula. I would also be interested in the Landon Ibeta. I don't know how to say his last name. He was committed to Miami. They have a coaching change. Maybe he's interested in coming to LSU. There's some really good 3-star receivers that I think could eat in Baton Rouge, and just 3-star players, right? I was a big guy on JaVale Gilmore. Maybe he's interested in coming to LSU. He's committed to Mississippi State. So we'll see. And obviously it helps out having Mason Taylor come in. We welcome in Planet Low. Oh, Roby. Crawford. Let's see. Carl, welcome to the channel, man. I need an LSU hoodie. Actually, I don't need an LSU hoodie. I got 1,000 hoodies. I actually took my hoodie off because this content tonight's going to be hot. Let's go. Kidding. That was a bad pun. Thank you so much, Carl, for the super chat here. Wow, the new free agentry. Hey, Spencer Rattler. I love it. I absolutely love it. So type Y for yes, type N for no. Would you take Spencer Rattler right now? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me hear it, baby. Yeah, that Texas story, Blake, is huge. Blake, part of the Hundo Club. I love it, man. So a lot of 100 donors. Blake was a part of the Hundo Club. Let's go. Let's go. Who will join the Hundo Club tonight? So tonight, we got a bunch of cards we're giving out, baby. Top Super Chatter is getting all 3 of these cards right here. I got a Jets. I got an Odell. I got a Justin Jefferson. I also have some Joe Burrow cards we're going to give out tonight. If the Super Chats get lit, let's go. Is Fly coming back? Because he's not a first rounder. Can see him coming back to up that draft stock unless he's already said he's leaving. I do think Cordell Fly comes back. I don't think he would get a first round grade, but I can also see him packing his bags if Durante is not retained. Maybe he doesn't want to sit around and wait to see who his next defensive coordinator is going to be. Also, Cordell Fly could transfer and go somewhere else. I hope he doesn't. He's like Damone Clark. Huge bounce back. It was ridiculous how big of a bounce back both of them had. There wasn't a comment section last offseason that wasn't filtered with on-market Cordell Fly hate. But you do defend them. They're put in a bad scheme, right? That scheme matters, okay? Spencer Rattler has a lot of baggage. Hundo Club president. Why don't the president? Yeah, you'll be the president of the Hundo Club. Spencer Rattler isn't good, says Shawnery. I think I agree with you. I don't think he's that great. The name DeColdis earned him an extra star. Technically, he's a 3-star. Yeah, so I don't know much about DeColdis Crawford's game, right? Since he's been committed so long, I really haven't watched any of his senior tape, if there is any available. It's funny. I did have a friend in Louisiana said Dakotas is really good, but is he like year one special good? Not really. So I do think it is someone that obviously you can survive. Uh, Look, LSU is a wide receiver factory, especially from just players in the state of Louisiana. So I wouldn't worry too much about Dakotas Crawford decommitting. I could easily see him still being a part of this class as well. So we'll see. Maybe this is true. And welcome to the channel, God First 91. I believe he's leaving because he knows we're about to get a quarterback out of the portal. Maybe that is the case. Maybe Max Johnson knows something that we don't know. Maybe he does. JJ, what's good, man? JJ switched up the profile photo. Once again, change if you have a letter profile, change it to an actual photo, please. It makes it so much easier for me, especially I get 1,000 comments coming in at the same time. It's so much easier because I get mixed up because a lot of you have the same letters. No, stop. No, don't just float stuff out there that's not true. Be careful. Okay. Let's see. What do you think about Coach Wilson coming to LSU? Oscar, welcome to the channel. Oscar, I love the photo, but it's your phone backdrop. So the time we need that change, man. I want to see those beautiful faces right there, man. But I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about Coach Wilson coming back. Someone said Joe Burrow 2.0 is showing up. Now, why would you put that on Walker Howard? You do understand that if you do say Walker Howard is the next Joe Burrow, you do understand Joe Burrow is the Michael Jordan of college football. He is the best to ever do it in a single season. It's him or Cam Newton. No one else really comes close in my mind. You do understand that, right? Let's not do that. I'm fine with saying Walker Howard is the next Tua or something like that, but really the next Burrow, like 95 QBR every game, really? Why did Deion Smith leave? I don't know. I do think part of it is getting to play right away. Okay. Look, Deion Smith knows when he comes back next year as he rehabs from injury, you know, Kayshawn's going to be ahead of him. Jack Besher's going to be ahead of him. And, of course, BTJ is going to be ahead of him, right? We don't know what Jarrett's going to do. We don't know what Trey's going to do. I would guess one of them would come back. So it's a crowded wide receiver room. And at the same time, you could play right away somewhere else. Did you know Frank Wilson gave Pete Golding? Roby, I did not know this, okay? This is guys, this is why I started the channel. It's super chats like this, which is why it started the channel, right? I look at this stuff every day. It's my full-time job, LSU football, and looking at it deeply. I love learning new things, right? I love comments like this that really make me think. I did not know this. I did not know this at all. Did any of you guys know this? And Roby, you know I love you, but I need an actual photo of Roby, right? Even if it's Zion Williamson of your beloved New Orleans Pelicans. Maybe Zion Williamson can hit the transfer portal and come to LSU and be a defensive tackle. Or a linebacker. I did not know this, right, Roby? I did not know this. This is wild. I do think Pete Golding is really good. I understand. I don't know why Bama fans feel like it's popular to just trash Pete Golding. I don't get it. He's done well. I mean, he just put together a pretty good game plan against Georgia. So yeah, I did not know this. I would be interested in Pete Golding as defensive coordinator. Does he leave Alabama to go take another defensive coordinator job? I don't know. Here's the thing that's interesting, though. I never hear Pete Golding's name for any NFL head coaching openings or college head coaching openings or NFL DC openings or anything. So yeah, maybe he does think about returning home. And it goes back to the comment we made earlier. As a coordinator, there is something to be said about getting to be your own person, right? So Pete Golding, who would be working with an offensive head coach, would have more autonomy to run his own defense. I don't know. He gets paid a lot of money to be in Alabama, so I doubt he would leave, but it is an interesting observation, Roby. It really is. So yeah, and this is my point, Sip, is you never hear Pete Golding's name for openings outside of this past weekend when we heard his name started getting floated for the LSU DC opening. Nuss got the red shirt, Miles and Max in the portal. Who will the quarterback be in the Texas Bowl? Tavion Falk. Look, Ed Orgeron said Matt O'Dowd was going to be the backup for Max Johnson the final 2 weeks. So I guess it would be Matt O'Dowd at this point. I know John Trey Kirkland has some history at the quarterback position. But yes, it is. I don't know. I really don't know. But I go back to it, and you guys know I've been beating this drum for a long period of time, even before we got to this point. Okay. So after the Garrett Nussmeier film study we did versus Ole Miss, I said Ed Orgeron needed to immediately go have a conversation, which obviously did happen. But the bottom line is still the bottom line. If you are the backup quarterback, you need to be ready to go. When we need you to be ready to go, right? So we'll see, right? I could see Max going to Florida. I could see that fit, right, with Napier. Yeah, James, I wouldn't go to the Texas Bowl knowing that we were starting a walk-on. Actually, no, I would. I kind of want to go to Houston. We have a lot of PHL viewers in Houston, including our King Robert. What's up, Chase? Good to hear from you. Let me know if you got your booger bands in the mail. I do hope John Emery's coming back. Let's see. Biscuit, what's good? Marcella says, sign him up. Zay says, why is Deion Smith transferring? Here's my thing, okay? Deion Smith is probably a starting wide receiver everywhere else in the SEC. Okay, not named Alabama and probably not named Georgia. So he's probably starting everywhere except LSU. And the wide receiver rotation next year is going to be BTJ, Bash, and Kayshawn. So yeah, you know, if you're Deion Smith, I would totally get going to Ole Miss or Mississippi State and catching 100 balls there, right? Go to an offense that's a little bit more passing oriented and go from there. Okay. We got some Dallas, Texas viewers in here. I love Dallas. Welcome to the channel, Cordero. Welcome to the channel, Cordero. Everyone, welcome, Cordero. And everyone, if you're a first-time viewer, let me know by typing first time. We do have a lot of first-time viewers in here. Aaron, my man, thank you so much. I love the shoulder satchel here. I love it, man. I really do. Carter out here killing it as always. Looking forward to your show always, anytime. And shout out to all the work sailors moving these ships up and down the river. Interesting. For the first time ever in PHL history, I always shout out truck drivers. That's always just kind of been my thing, right? And our resident truck driver leader, I-10 Roman, hasn't commented in a while. I'm a little worried. Roman George, what was the name of the bread company? Evangeline Bread. I've been missing out on Roman's comments. But tonight, we are dedicating our live stream to the sailors out there. Okay, I never thought I would dedicate a live stream to the sailor. Long overdue, too, right? A lot of you are from Louisiana. You understand how important boats are. I know that sounds strange, but it is very important as far as shipping and cargo and all of that. So shout out to all the sailors. Big time. Let's go. Let's go, sailors. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, sailors. Let's go. Moving these ships up and down the rivers. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love for the sailors. Let's go. Aaron, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, man. You know what's funny? I do freaking love people that do these jobs where any job that is required to move freight, all right, is such a hard freaking job, right? Especially during the holidays when everything starts to pick up. Yeah, Navy sailor. Heck yeah. Next year you have Butte, BTJ, Besh, and I forget Malik Neighbors as well. How could you forget Malik Neighbors knowing how well he's played? I totally get Dion packing his bags. I totally get it. And look, let me ask you a question. For those that are perplexed as to why Deion Smith is leaving, okay? Would you rather, as a young man from Mississippi, even though Deion Smith grew up as an LSU fan and he grew up closer to LSU's campus than Oxford, would you rather sit the bench and play behind a pro stylish type of head coach with an offense that you don't know what's going to look like next year? Or would you rather go be the number one or the number two? Deion Smith will be no worse than the number 3 option for Lane Kiffin or the number 3 option for Mississippi State. If you were Deion Smith, I'm asking you right now, wherever you are, whether you're a sailor, whether you're a plumber, an electrician, wherever you're watching, every single one of you would hit that portal and go play for Lane Kiffin. Okay? Ultimately, your career comes down to where you can get playing time. Okay? I know we always get caught up in Alabama going to the national championship game, but every year they have players who don't play hit the portal because they want to play, right? They know that they're never going to play where they are. And a lot of 4 and 5 stars never do end up playing, or they do get some playing time, but they see another situation better somewhere else. You pack your bags and you go. Okay? And then there's still Chris Hilton out there. Playing with Waves uniform on. Congratulations. This is a good question. So once again, let me see. I got pretty fired up over the sailor thing. Let me see. Our first-time viewers. I want to make all our first-time viewers feel welcome. Just Michael Clark, it's his first time. Welcome. Stay away from JJ, Plum, and Ulysses. Okay, you'll be fine. And stay away from Zay because Zay is the king of the Max Johnson hater fan club. So I know Zay is really happy right now. Lane couldn't pay me enough to live in Oxford. Okay. Well, I'm going to make this comment about Oxford really quickly because you did super chat. It's overrated, right? Oxford is fine. It's fun. I like Oxford. It's just overrated. Okay? Fayetteville is way better than Oxford. Baton Rouge is way better than Oxford. I'm really biased about both of those cities. I think Tuscaloosa's better than Oxford. And there's no other way around it, right? Happy I want to watch Minimum Johnson miss wide open receivers and get himself sacked anymore. Welcome to the Matt O'Dowd era. Okay, so because you super chatted, we'll dive a little bit deeper into Max Johnson's career. Okay. Was Max Johnson a net positive for LSU? Yes. Yes. We probably go 3-7 last year if Max Johnson doesn't come in and save the day. Okay. So that's a big positive. I want to win every game. Okay. So Max Johnson was a big reason why we won both of those games. More so the Florida game than the Ole Miss game where Kayshawn went Super Saiyan, but still. Okay. And what about Max Johnson this year? Okay. UCLA game, bad. McNeese, really bad. Had a really good game against Central Michigan, had a really good game against Mississippi State, yes. And that was because we started playing Deion Smith more. Dion was really good in those games. And we started playing Jack Besh more. And we started playing BTJ more. But then after that, it started getting worse. Kentucky was bad. Auburn, first half good, second half absolutely atrocious. Alabama game, he was the reason why we did not win that game. The quarterback chasm in that game hadn't been that wide between the two of us since Joe Burrow and Tua, right? Where Tua couldn't move and Joe Burrow was awesome. Okay. And even last year with Mac Jones, the reason why we lost this year, though, is because the quarterback chasm was so big, right? Max was fine versus ULM. Crunch time versus Texas A&M, he was phenomenal. The Texas A&M game, Max was phenomenal. No other way around it. But yeah, the Arkansas game, he was really bad too. The few snaps he played, he was just missing so many throws. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Does this mean that Max Johnson wasn't good enough to be the quarterback at LSU? Kind of, sort of. But at the same time, he wasn't ready to play. Okay? Not many quarterbacks are ready to play year two. They're just not. Okay? Whether you're a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, some guys are just year 3 or more guys. And there were a lot bigger red flags surrounding Max Johnson than we initially thought, including his high school stats, which we touched on a little bit earlier. Pocket presence, also his turnover numbers are way better than what they should be. There are few quarterbacks in LSU history that's had better interception luck than Max Johnson, such as balls ricocheting his way, dropped interceptions. The list goes on and on. So could Max Johnson have gotten better? This is what James says. James, welcome to the channel. I love this photo too. I didn't see him getting any better. This year I didn't. I could have seen a year 3 jump. He does do some things really well, okay? But outbreaking routes, not good. Running ability, not good. Pocket presence, not good. Footwork, not good. Arm strength, not good. Confidence, not good. Those are all areas where he is just awful, okay? And do those things get better with time? Sometimes they do. But the truth of the matter is this. It didn't help that he had the extra weight of a first-time play caller. It didn't help that Max Johnson only ever got to play with one center who would oftentimes be in his lap. I will say this time in and time out for everyone in the comment section after this live stream that are huge Max Johnson defenders. And we do have some, and some that really do support the channel. So let me say this about Max. He's got every excuse in the book, and a lot of it is justified. you do defend Max Johnson for all those things, right? He was playing way before his development. He didn't have the best offensive line. He had a rotating door wide receiver. The throws to the running backs were never figured out. He never had a screen game. We could never block a screen. The drops, he had some of the worst drop luck from his own receivers. But with all that said, it doesn't take away the fact that he missed a lot of throws. And it just came down to that simple truth. And I think he's a little broken right now. And I think he needs a new quarterback coach. And I'm not talking about like for a new staff. He needs a new private quarterback tutor. All right, Reggie. Thank you for finally changing your photo. So Reggie is one of our many cancer warriors here on PHL. So if you do believe in a higher power, please pray for Reggie as he is getting ready to have surgery. Reggie, you have my email. Feel free to let me know how everything goes, right? We are with you, Reggie. We are with you, okay? And Reggie is also a member of the Booger Band Club. I understand we're getting a lot of questions for more Booger bands. So Reggie's also a Booger Band Club member. Reggie, make sure you got those Booger bands, man. Those things help you. Ask King Robert, ask everyone these things right here. Okay? Could you tell us who you would like to see on the new staff and our quarterback might look like next year? Okay? You got this, Reggie. You got this. So, understand this. I love Max Johnson. I would have liked to have seen Max Johnson stay and battle for the starting job next year. He's also a really good backup, right? He's just a good backup to have to come in if you just need someone steady to get in there, okay? So for next year, I don't want Walker Howard to be the quarterback. It just wouldn't be great, especially considering Walker Howard himself is coming back from an injury. This was a rough year for him as far as the injuries are concerned. So I would like to see Walker Howard. I would like to see him sit a year. I do think that would be good for him, but if we need him to play, he's going to have to play. Obviously, Garrett Nussmeier, this is a golden opportunity, and Reggie, I'm really glad you super chat this. Garrett Nussmeier should go to Brian Kelly and say, look, actually, you don't go to Brian Kelly, you got to go to Brad Davis. He's the one calling the shots for the bowl game. He should go to both of them and say, look, I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy. And I would burn the red shirt to play in the bowl game. I understand a lot of people are going to say this, okay? This is a meaningless exhibition, okay? Meaningless. But it's not meaningless. Bowl games are great. Bowl games are it's the most exciting game of the year. It's the game before the season you didn't even know you were going to play in. Game. And if Garrett Nussmeier was to say, look, I want to be the guy, he would get 15 practices with three of the top 4 wide receivers we're going to be getting back next year. You get 15 practices with those guys. And when we really need you, which is right now, you step up for us and you play. Right? If I'm Garrett Nussmeier, I seize this opportunity and play. But you're burning a red shirt. Forget the red shirt rule. It's so stupid. Take this opportunity, seize it now, and if you go out there and win this game, is highly unlikely. Because part of the reason why Max Johnson was so heavily ahead of everyone else in this quarterback race is because he went 2-0. Ed Orgeron said it himself. Max going 2-0 was the reason why he got the first snaps in spring ball this last year. You win the bowl game, you don't understand how much momentum that gives you going into the season. Nuss should start, right? He should start. Take this opportunity. And I would like to see Nuss be the starter next year, right? There's a lot of things I like about Nuss. There's some things I dislike, all right? So just throwing on time, not making the home run throw every time, running when running lanes present itself. There's a lot. And the interceptions versus Arkansas weren't the best. But yes, Reggie, I'm really glad you brought this up. Once again, good luck on your surgery. I would like to see Nuss be the guy. Now, could you tell us who you would like to see on the new staff? Good question. So, here's what I'll do, Reggie. I'll give you the coaches who I think should be non-negotiables when it comes to returning to the staff next season. I do think Brad Davis needs to keep his job. This is a big deal, having someone like Brad Davis on the staff, right? He got the interim coaching opportunity over guys that had been there for a while. You know, you don't just give it to someone who doesn't know what he's doing, right? So, yes, I would love to see Brad Davis come back, and I would like to see Corey Raymond come back. Now, everyone else, they have a strong case. Blake Baker has a strong case. Andre Carter has a really strong case. So, yeah, we'll see. I do agree with this. I do agree with this, Beavis. That was bad. Okay. No, it would be, I agree with you, butthead. And then it would be, that was such an underrated show. Brad, Corey, and Blaker. I like it. Was that okay? Was that a good Beavis and Butthead? Who remembers that show? Nuss should burn that red shirt. Nuss needs the reps. Exactly. Thank you, Randall. I was trying to, it was actually in the back of my mind. What was the phrase I was thinking of? Carpe diem. Seize the MF day. Seize it. Seize it. I love it, Randall. Life is precious. Take your opportunities now. Now. Reggie, get well. There you go. Brandon's in your corner. Ev says, I want Quinn Ewers. I remember. No. So this is a good question because some people do get confused by this. No, the bowl game is part of the 2021 season, right? So just because it happens in a new year. And that's something that always screws up people that don't follow college football because yes, we are the greatest team of all time. The 2019 team is the greatest team of all time, but people get confused because they see Joe Burrow oftentimes with a 2020 patch. That's just because the college football playoff was played in 2020. Once again, this honestly is very important for people to understand. Oh, Black OT? That was a horrible butt. Really? You really thought I was going to play in though a perfect impression of Beavis Butthead? I'm not James Fox here. I'm not Jay Farrell. I don't know how to do impersonations, right? What did you think? Did you think I was going to do a good Beavis and Butthead or Beavis? I do think there was something that was probably said. Here's why I think this is true. Okay. I think it's true because I don't think Brian Kelly would view his quarterback situation as ideal. And I also don't think Max Johnson has all that much leverage right now to go transfer somewhere else. What resume could Max Johnson give to new schools to say, look, I'm the guy. You need me. You need me in my 5 games of under 50 QBR. You need me in my 8-6 record as a starter. Quarterback wins the wins aren't a good quarterback stat, but still, I think there was probably something said. I also don't think that that's ideal. I will say this, and you guys know I'm positive towards Brian Kelly for now. The one thing I would say, though, is I hope nothing comes out that Brian Kelly said, look, we want you to move on, because there is value in having Max Johnson on your roster and being a good backup. Okay. Has Brennan found a new school yet? Maybe he does come back. I don't know. A new. Let's see here. We'll start a new poll question. Okay. Oh, good to see you. I don't know if he's getting peak golden. Simper, you need to be on time, young man. Welcome to the channel. Oh, no, Salazar, you've been a while. You've been here for a while. We lost Jake the Snake. Jared, here's my thing about this deer death here. You need to, I understand it probably wasn't your first kill, but deer shootings or buck shootings, they don't count unless you get the blood and you rub it on right here. Okay. For all you hunters out there. The same thing with fish. When you catch a fish, you need to grab some gills and show the world you caught that fish. I hope Frank can get Harold Perkins. Roby, don't get me started, man. You guys know my love for Harold Perkins knows no ends, right? He's like a Micah Parsons type of player. He is a little bit different. The only thing that concerns me about Harold Perkins is he is different. He's not your typical edge guy, right? He's kind of a tweener, but in a good way. We don't even know if defense is his best position. His running back highlights are insane. So that's the scary thing about Harold Perkins is those types of athletes are rare. Rare. The Mr. Clean with hair. Paris is the queen of the Harold Perkins fan club. That's Paris's favorite recruit ever. And he's up there for me. I love me some Harold Perkins. But Brian Kelly will be visiting Harold Thursday. So hopefully that turns out. Jay, welcome to the channel. Thoughts on Cole Taylor? Well, as many of you know, I've been really harsh on my Cole Taylor viewings, film studies or whatever. Cole Taylor goes out there and gives it his all every time, plays hard. He does what is asked of him, but he's a 6'6" guy with not much athletic leverage. He doesn't move his body well. And you see it in blocking. You see it in receiving. I just don't think he's an SEC player, especially now. I've always thought he was a year 3 guy. But welcome to the channel, Jay. Good to see you. I hope you're not a big Cole Taylor fan. I trust me, I'm a fan of Cole Taylor, but at the same time, viewing things objectively, he really pops off the film as someone who can't handle the speed of play right now. Mashburn is just better. He just is. Okay? Yeah, I mean, look, this is always the case with the new staff. I think Billy Napier actually said it best. You can't really expect anything out of a first recruiting class, especially with the way things are now with the early period. Okay? New poll question coming up. Okay. So there you go for all you cool cats and kittens. Six. Let's see. Max Johnson, Eli Ricks, Deion Smith. There's 3 right there. Can't think of anyone else right now. Oh, Bug Strong. So that's 4. So yeah, they have at least 4. You want to get to at least 7. What's up, Carvis? Good to see you. Let's go. We love Cole. Yeah, I love Cole too, right? But at the same time, a lot of you have come to this channel for honest commentary. I don't know what to say, really. I want it to work out. But sometimes the speed of the game, when you go from being a 3-star recruit in Colorado to playing in the SEC, you tend to get tossed around a little bit, right? Michael G, good to hear from you. I don't think you should plan on Eli Ricks coming back. Okay, I'm getting a lot of Eli Ricks questions tonight. I'll talk a little bit more about Eli. You guys know it's a sore subject for me because I freaking loved Eli Ricks. Yeah, I mean, I thought when Eli Ricks' career was going to be over, he would be top 2 or 3 corner that ever played at the school. And he was well on his way, but he wants to go somewhere else. So all there is to it. You know, do what you want to do. Danielle, I don't know the Kayshawn. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I didn't see anything he tweeted out earlier. Yeah, he's gonna early enroll. Tony, you're being summoned. Don says recruit Quinn Ewers. Okay. Guys, I don't know about that. I really don't. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched enough Quinn Ewers to really say if it's worth that risk. But yeah, I'd be open to anything. Here's the money question here. Does Jarrett Lee have any eligibility left? Well, it's funny, you know, and welcome back, Van guy. Here's the thing about Jarrett Lee is that Jarrett Lee and Max Johnson are essentially the same quarterbacks, right? Mediocre high school stats, immediately wins a really amazing road game despite playing when he should have never even played. Max Johnson versus Florida, Jarrett Lee versus Auburn, which puts up unreal expectations. Jarrett Lee goes on to have a very mistake-filled but also clutch career. The same thing could be said about Max Johnson. Won us some games that we probably shouldn't have won. Lost us some games we probably shouldn't have lost. So honestly, the comparisons between the both of them are actually pretty similar. Not great arm strength, not great mobility, can run an offense, will miss you some throws, will throw some picks. So that is interesting, Van. It really is. Do you think we land Kamari Wilson? So for those that don't know, Kamari Wilson, 5-star receiver, 5-star safety out of IMG Academy. I don't know. I just don't understand it. Here's what I'll say about this. LSU is not going to land any of these 5-star with no coordinators in place that have no Louisiana ties. So Harold Perkins is interested in LSU because he has a lot of family from New Orleans, right? He's from the area. But at this point, you're not going to let any really big time recruits that aren't from the area. It's just not going to happen, right? So take Demario Tolan for the Master Blasters in and out. So take Demario Tolan, right? Look, Van, you got look, Randall's on point, man. I love it. Andrew Hatch, Mont Dog, Andrew Hatch. Did not think we'd get to the Andrew Hatch part of the conversation, but he did wear the same jersey number as Max, so that counts as something. I also want to point out one more thing. Since we're talking about Jarrett Lee and Jordan Jefferson, I will say this. It does help out if you're Jordan Jefferson that Justin Jefferson is a baller, because Justin Jefferson was courtside for the Timberwolves game. And of course, Justin Jefferson brought Jordan Jefferson to sit with them courtside. The same thing happened for the Lakers game. Justin Jefferson was courtside for the Lakers game. Jordan Jefferson sat right there by him. It helps when you have a sibling who balls the F out, right? For those that don't know, the hardest thing, the most exclusive club there is when it comes to sports spectatorship is front row courtside at the Lakers game. So shout out to Jordan Jefferson for accomplishing that and having a pretty dope younger brother. Joey B. Quinn is a 5-star from Southlake, which has its tentacles in every college in Texas. Here's what I think Quinn Ewers is going to do. He's going to go to Texas Tech and put up big numbers, right? I'm a big Ryan Perrilloux fan. I really am. I am biased. Joe Burrow got a little brother. But I am biased. I roomed with one of Ryan Perrilloux's cousins, Steve. Still a friend of mine to this day. Such a great dude. And man, I just wish Ryan would have actually gotten to play his career, right? There's no telling what would have happened. Jordan Jefferson better than Max Johnson. It's close. So, yeah. Not DeColdis. I know. There's a lot of DeColdis fans on this channel. Shout out to all my North Louisiana viewers. There we go. We're at 400. It's good to see it, man. I love seeing the live streams really starting to pick up here. And guess what? We're going to be going all off season, guys. We're LSU football 24/7, right? 365. It's all I do. With Walker enrolling early, I think Nuss should burn the red shirt because he's going to have to compete for the starting job now. Thank you. It makes no sense. No sense to not do this if you're Garrett Nussmeier. But he loses a full year of eligibility. You can always make it up. And if you're so undeniably good in your 3-year window here, you're not going to need that final year of eligibility anyway. It's a flawed argument every time people make it, right? I've been saying this so much, okay? College football is oftentimes not meritocracy come quarterback position. You've got to play when you get your opportunity, okay? Think about this. College football is the only sport where the two players that have completed the greatest seasons we've ever seen never got their opportunities at their original school, Joe Burrow and Cam Newton, okay? When you get those opportunities at a major Power 5 university, you've got to seize it. This is your chance, right? Especially now with the transfer portal, okay? I'm telling you, okay? Let me share a quick story real quick, and I promise you I'll get back into LSU chatter, okay? I was at the Rose Bowl covering Ohio State versus Washington. And during that time, there were Justin Fields rumors out there. So a lot of the Ohio State media gathered around Tate Martell at the time. And Tate Martell was saying, look, I'm not worried about Justin Fields. I'm going to be the guy. I don't remember his exact quotes, but he was comfortable. But Justin Fields was able to immediately be eligible to play for Ohio State. And guess what happened to Tate Martell? He packed his bags. You're never guaranteed. If Quinn Ewers says, look, I actually do want to go to LSU and I do want to play right now. You don't know. You don't know. What if Caleb Williams says, look, I really like Joe Brady. You hire Joe Brady as offensive coordinator. I'm coming to LSU. Let's say LSU hires Joe Brady. Do you think you're going to beat out Caleb Williams? No, this is your chance now, right now. Carter, you're being biased because LSU doesn't have options now. You always say freshmen shouldn't play. And look, there's some truth to this. Freshmen shouldn't play in a perfect scenario, right? But if you're given the opportunity to play, you should play. This is also part of it, Steph, is there are no other options, right? When there are no other options, you have to play the true freshman unless you want to play a walk-on, which, by the way, the walk-ons are also freshmen. You still got to play, right? Garrett Nussmeier had it perfect because during the spring game, it looks like Garrett Nussmeier would never even have to think about worrying about playing year one. But it happens. This happens, okay? So, yes, freshmen shouldn't play over more experienced guys, but if there are no other options, you got to play, right? Let's see here. John Emery was at the stadium with his O-line. Okay, good. We would love John Emery. Let's see. Shreveport's in the building. Let's go. Go get Dylan Gabriel. Simper. There we go. Switching up the profile photos. Naming my kid lukewarm. I bet they wouldn't dare try that retro crap if we lucked up and got Arch Manning. Arch Manning is the next Chris Sims. I like it. I do think this is going to be my hot take for right now. Okay. I do think Arch Manning is probably a little overrated because of that last name. We have seen some quarterbacks get a little overvalued because of that last name. Thus, the situation we're in right now. But look, Chris Sims, really, man? Arch Manning 10 years from now is going to be giving crappy commentary on NBC Sports? Is that what you expect? I'm kidding. I actually do like Chris Sims. I do watch his Sunday night wrap-up show. But still, I'll say this. And Ahmad, you're actually in here. So, no, actually, it wasn't Ahmad. It was someone else. Okay, I know Ahmad follows recruiting. Not only do I think Arch Manning is a little overvalued just a little bit, I watched Malachi Nelson, who is the number 2 ranked 5-star. He looks fine. It looks like he has a huge windup in his throw, but he's going to USC. We don't worry about that. So, look, I still stand by what I've said about the 2022 quarterbacks. This is going to be one of the best recruiting classes of quarterbacks we've ever seen. I still think Quinn Ewers is good. I think Walker Howard is special. I think the Cade Klubnik kid is really special. I still think he's a little underrated. And I would probably say he's the best quarterback in this class for now. The The Connor Weidman guy, he is going to Texas A&M, where quarterbacks go to die under Jimbo Fisher. So I don't know how I feel totally about him just yet. I think he's good, though. I do. So I think the class of 2022 QBs has some really good players in there. Kevin. I've never seen Kevin spelled Keben. I love it, man. Welcome to the channel, Kevin. Goldsboro, North Carolina. I like it. So are we going through a terrible rebuilding year? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I want to start using the term rebuilding year just yet. Brian from Vegas. Love it. What happened to Matt Johnson? Yes, I was there. I was there in the scrum with Tate Martell. No, it's random because I don't cover Washington or Ohio State, but I was given the opportunity to go out to California and cover that Rose Bowl. And of course, when you get the opportunity to cover the Rose Bowl, I knew that was a once in a lifetime thing. I was like, I'm going. It really is great, though. It really is. And for those that went to the UCLA game, even though we sucked, you can attest to how beautiful that stadium is. I would say Walker. I would. But then again, I can't give an honest answer to that before people just saying, well, you're not telling the truth. You're just saying that because Arch isn't committed to LSU. So I can't really answer that. Channel Love. So excited for the future of BK. Go Tigers. Katie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Also updated the profile photo. I like it. I love it when you guys and gals update your profile photos, okay? I don't want it to just be a letter. And sometimes I like it when you switch up the profile photos during the stream. Tony the Master Blaster is the king of that. Tony will go through 12 different photos during the stream. Big Mac changed up his photo. Ohio backed off of Rick's. Very interesting. Let's see. Let me show you the notes. For those wondering where the Brian Kelly deep dive is, I'm actually going to wait and do a Brian Kelly week on the channel later this year. Here's some of the research. It looks like a Mike Leach play sheet. Well, actually, a Mike Leach play sheet is smaller. So this is just page one. I got another stack of yard per play data and all that. Actually, some of this is on the back of a Billy Napier deep dive. So if you want to see how the meat is grinded, there you go. And thank you again, Katie, for the super chat. You get to pick the next question, Katie. So go right on ahead. I feel Carter is tipsy. I'm actually just drinking water tonight. I should drink a Zima. Zach Evans. I'm down for some Zach Evans. LJ. What's good? Here's the thing about Zach. Once again, Katie, get your question in. We do have a lot of people in here, though. Let's see. Arch plays YMCA competition, then gets whooped by good teams. Well, Will, you're in New Orleans. So, I don't know too much about like Newman competition. I know they're in the same division as LCA, so they play some good teams. But it's kind of weird, right? You never really know. Marcel Brooks should have just stayed at LSU. How did his how did his TCU career work out? Odell played that competition, so yeah. Here's the thing: just because you played a lower competition doesn't mean you're not any good. It just doesn't. But it is just something to note, right? LSU live streams get lit when Marcel Brooks' deep talk starts coming in. I also I also am shocked we haven't talked about Damone Clark tonight. I thought someone would have super chatted that about Damone Clark, right? Jacoby Deon getting the butt kiss over Damone Clark. I'm kind of fine with it, knowing just from an LSU standpoint, we've won a lot of awards that we did not deserve to win. Okay. So we've gotten lucky in that standpoint. I do feel Damone Clark was robbed. I do think he had a better season than Jacoby Deon, and he is more important to his defense than Jacoby Deon is to Georgia. Yeah, I feel bad for Damone, but Damone, I'll say this. What he went through, the transformation, is crazy. It's crazy. Right? He went from one of the worst to wearing the number 18 to one of the best. So it's pretty wild. I'm really happy for him. And I do think he's going to get drafted pretty early. Will says the defense's arch plays are all 5'6" white kids. Huh? I just don't know. I'm just laughing because that comment just came out of nowhere because Will brought it up. I'll say this: it's not the highest level of competition, but just because you play bad competition doesn't mean you're not going to be a good player. If Nuss burns his red shirt and plays great, does that give him an edge on the starting spot next season? Welcome to the channel, 32 Visions, or 32 Visons, or 32 Vi Sons. Such an interesting name. It does. That's why he should burn it and play right now. Tyler, I love it, man. Tyler, I want you to change your profile photo, man. I want all of you. I'm tired of it, especially you, Reed. Okay, we need you guys to change your photos. Okay. Katie says it was a love-hate relationship with Max. True that. I love me some Max Johnson, man. I do. And I was able to screenshot when we were at 369. Most underrated song. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, how much money Lil Jon made. Yeah. We've had a Beavis and Butthead reference tonight. We've had a Lil Jon reference tonight. Only on PHL, baby. Let's go. Dang, Will. So Will's kind of the anti-arch guy here. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh, ooh. Blaine with sources. Welcome to the channel, Blaine. I like it. We need Coach O to come back. All right, Jared. Jared, you changed your photo. What's up with that, Jared? I repeat, John J. Kirkland would be the starting quarterback for the bowl game. Ooh, JJ. Okay. I'll go through each one of these three players. Okay. Very nice super chat here, my friend. So let's start with Etienne. I think obviously Clemson's going to be in the lead of that one, right? I think it does interest him that there are no running backs committed in this class at this point. He's obviously really athletic, and obviously the genetics are there. I just think it's too hard to pass up going to play where your brother was a legend. So yeah, I think if I was the Etienne, I would look into going. But at the same time, brothers don't always go where their brothers win. We saw that we were the beneficiary of that with BJ Ojolari, right? So we'll see. Jacoby Matthews obviously is going to be the most likely player LSU will land because he's committed to LSU. He's from Louisiana. I would say Jacoby Matthews is the best. Harold Perkins, of course, is better than the other two. He's special. He's my number one player, period, in the class of 2022, even though Travis Hunter is going to be a first-round pick. He's really good. But yeah, I would love Harold Perkins. But out of those three, I would say Jacoby Matthews. And I think most of you would say Jacoby Matthews. I would say it is more likely that LSU lands none of them than all three of them. I also think it's probably more likely that LSU lands none of them than two out of the three of them. And look, when you're an elite recruit and you have options, you're going to pick where whichever school is more stable, right? This is a good question right here from Riley. Delpit 19 equals Nakobe 2021. Top 10 class are more like 20. Okay, so we'll start with the first year. All right. Delpit, yes, I agree with this. I do think Grant Delpit's struggles in 2019 were a little overstated. I think, ironically, he is a little underrated. So shout out to Grant Delpit. Obviously, he should have won the award in 2018. He was the best in 2018. Yes, I do think I could see that just a little bit, even though Nakobe Dean was better in 2021 than Grant Delpit was in 2019, but he was the biggest name defensive star on the best team or the undefeated team when the awards actually happen. Even though Jordan Davis is a bigger star, Nakobe Dean plays every snap. Top 10 class are more like top 20. I do think right now LSU is more likely to finish 15 to 20th than in the top 10 at this point. Top 10 is going to be hard after the Jake Johnson thing because Jake Johnson was a top 100 recruit. And we'll see. LSU might fall out of the top 20 altogether. It could happen. This is what happens when you have a change in coaching staff. So we'll see. Tyler, there you go. About time you changed your photo. And you included a photo of your dog. I love it. Do you feel like BK told Max he should transfer? I don't know, Tyler. I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. All right, let's see. Chase, what's good? Good to hear from you. You changed your photo as well. I love it. Would you rather have Rattler next year or Howard start as a freshman? I'd rather have Spencer Rattler. Because that would just be a 1-year thing. I don't think Spencer's trying to go somewhere to play 2 years. Is there no Dehadis? Simplified changed the photo again. Good question, King Ulysses. He changes his photo again. I love the family photo. I love it. Zach Evans would be really fun. Trent thinks we'll finish with the number 8 ranked class. We'll see. Go Tigers. I love it. Cool photo here. Interesting. Brian, switch it up. Everyone's switching up photos with their dogs. I like it. It doesn't appear as though the BK hire has gone over too well with the players, with all the players hitting the portal. I think that some of it, Brian, anytime a new coach is coming in, there's some of that. I also think the players not knowing the fates of their position coaches. Look, this is Max Johnson's third quarterback coach. This would have been his third quarterback coach in as many years at the same spot. And to think he was getting recruited more likely than not, break few assists that left after 2019. It's different. It is different. Rachel, welcome to the channel. When Saban came, players did the same thing. Yeah, it's true. Carl, good question. I think it's a little tough to say because it is so early before the bowl game. Exactly, JJ. It's 335 people in here. If you haven't, I'm not the best at this always, but please subscribe to the channel. That always obviously helps out with the algorithm. You know, the thing, for those that don't know how the YouTube algorithm works, you know that scene in The Matrix where there's that one guy in the white room? He's the one telling the algorithm to do different things. And that guy just told me for you guys to subscribe to the channel so he can know where to tell people to watch LSU football content. Okay. So tonight we got a Lil Jon, Beavis and Butthead, and Matrix comment all in the same live stream. What you guys got to say about that? Congrats, Austin. That's wonderful. Great. Let's see. Trenton, this is a loaded question. It's way above my pay grade right there for me to answer that question. We'll see. A lot of it comes down to your coordinators. We will get the top running backs. Welcome, Dwayne. Good to hear from you. But here's my new thing, okay? Unless you're a first-time viewer, I'm not clicking on your comment. Now, if you super chat, you know, I'm going to click on your comment. I don't care what's happening in your little circle. But if you are a first-time viewer, I'm not going to, or if you are a first-time viewer, I'm always going to respond to first-time viewers. But I need you guys to change your avatars. I don't like seeing the letters. I like seeing your beautiful faces. Okay? Van. Look at that, Van. Van, I didn't know. Van's you're a dog owner. I love it. Chances of a portal QB coming in seriously. I think it's really high. I do. Especially if Garrett Nussmeier's hitting the portal. Okay? It's really high. Now, LSU's kind of in a tough spot here as well because, well, look, if you are going to bring in a more experienced quarterback in from the portal, I do think you would have to tell that person you're going to play. Okay, you're going to be the guy. Okay, so you better be getting someone that's really good, whether that be Dylan Gabriel. I'm still, and I understand that this wasn't a popular, name, but I'm a Jake Haener guy. He's going to Washington. He was my number one quarterback in the portal. But we'll see. Van, our top super chatter tonight. There you go, Van. So right now, Van, $20 super chat, our biggest one of the night, is currently leading the way for these 3 cards, 2 Justin Jeffersons and 1 Odell. So there you go, Van. You're currently leading. That's good. Bozeman. I love that name. Bozeman. I want everyone right now, what is your dog's name in the chat? We're a very pro dog channel. If you have a cat, my apologies to you. Dogs are so much better. There's never been anything in my life, because look, some of you like country music, some of you like R&B music. Your own taste or your own taste, okay? But there is no chasm in life bigger than dogs and cats. Dogs are so much better than cats. I don't understand the cat thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me, okay? This is great. Chase, Oatmeal, and Ghost. Vito and Rosebud. Baxter. Michael. Everyone welcome Michael, first-time viewer. Buddy. I love it. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? It's one of my favorite movies of all time. By the way, Elf is the best Christmas movie of all time. Mythic Monk, I'll answer your question if you change your photo or super chat. I think Kiner played quarterback in high school. We should just run the Wildcat. We should just run it. If we can get the snap off, that is. Hitman, please stop with these horrible takes. I would rather you have said cats are better than dogs. Dogs and cats are equal? Jarrett, where have you been? Cody, best avatar in the game right here. Rocking the PHL gear. Drew is my dog's name. I love it. Welcome to the channel, Barry. Good to see you, man. We love it. I also love photos of you and the children. Gotta love it, man. This channel is for super dads. We always shout out the super dads of the PHL world. Let's see. First time viewer, just subscribe. Dogs' names are Chachi and Lola. And once again, there you go. I love that, man. I love this photo. That's the more cowbell guy. I like it. I like it. That's the guy from Kicking and Screaming. I like it. I like it. We appreciate you, Barry. Welcome to the channel. Dogs are the best genre. You are right about that. So there you go, Van. Thanks for starting the dog chat. And we got a scoop here. DJ Weselak is visiting. It's interesting, right? So line Andre's recruiting is a guy named Anthony Lucas out of Arizona. He's the number one player in Arizona, right? And Marcus Freeman visited him. He's probably the hottest defensive lineman in college football right now, outside of our guy from Baton Rouge, Quincy Wiggins. And it's interesting because, as many of you know, someone touched on this earlier about Texas A&M's recruiting. Texas A&M is really recruiting well right now. It's kind of scary, especially since a lot of it is in the trenches. They're doing really well there. They get the kid from Oklahoma to flip. He was a number 10 prospect overall. The Gavin Brownlow Denley, I don't know how to say his name. Kid can really play. So A&M's just killing it right now. It's a good. I've never heard this before, Mick. I like that. That's the guy from Step Brothers. I love it, man. For those that don't know, that is his real name is Ron Burgundy in the photo. So this is a good comment right here. I understand we're all LSU fans and we want every recruit to stay with LSU. But the truth is, nobody wants to go somewhere with uncertainty. And think about it this way, okay? Because I have read some comments in here tonight that says, well, if we don't want you, go. And how can you decommit this late in the process? Well, the exact opposite is actually true, right? Because imagine being a just a teenager athlete, and you are committed to a school for so long, sometimes a year, 2 years. You get to know the position coaches, you get to know the coordinators, you get to know the head coach, and all in a week's time, you have to make the decision to stay with that school with a brand new coach and brand new coordinators. And a lot of former players will tell you this: commit to the school, but not the coach. It just doesn't happen that way, though. It just doesn't happen that way. I like this. First time viewer, good show. Dog name is Jax. I love the dog name Jax, but I also love the name Zippy in a Visor. What does that mean? That's just great. Speaking of Zippies, I could use a burrito right now. I should do a live show from Zippies. I love Zippies. Zippies food is great. Their frozen drinks, oh my God. Oh my God. You can get those 32-ounce daiquiris, and that thing stays. How do they keep the frigidity? Like, it just stays frozen for a long period of time. It's my favorite drink at Baton Rouge is Zippy's frozen things. You guys know and this is what's crazy about frozen drinks is I've had bad frozen drinks made. I've never had a bad frozen drink that comes out of one of the swirly things that you pull the thing out of. You know, whenever they pull it out, every frozen drink I've ever had in a styrofoam cup where it's already pre-made and it's just swirling like a washer and a dryer. Like, you see all that frozen swirliness and all that sugar and all that alcohol, all that skinny girl margarita mix and fruit and diabetes mixed in there. And dude, when it comes out, it's perfect. It is just. And my mom's a diabetic. She's like, Carter, if you eat bad, you're gonna be like me. I can't help it. I can't help those frozen things, man. And they sneak up on you too. You better be careful. If you've never been in Louisiana and you go to like Dak Cafe or Zippy's or something like that, they'll sneak up on you. And if you've never been in New Orleans, don't go to Bourbon and just drink frozen drinks. You'll end up in a ditch in Frenchman, and you won't have your wallet. I guarantee you won't have your wallet. A&M are our sons. And Johnny Manziel is our troubled son. Absolutely. Yes, a daiquiri. But my point is daiquiris are always better if they're pre-made and they're just swirling already. Christian, thank you for the super chat. With Alabama, Georgia, and A&M dominating recruiting, how can Coach Kelly put LSU back in the mix against the other powerhouses? Good question, Christian. I'm going to spend some time on this. Okay? So, and I know they're called daiquiris, but my point is some of them are margaritas. Some of them are frozen margaritas that are already pre-made. They're Doc Knock. So here we go. First thing, Christian, is that it helped out that they got Frank Wilson. Okay. So I'm going to do a video on Frank sometime soon. It's going to be hard because there are so many breaking news stories. So the bottom line is Frank Wilson is one of the best LSU assistant coaches of all time. And you could make a case that Frank Wilson is the best LSU non-coordinator coach and non-head coach of all time. Definitely of the modern era. When you look at his recruiting history, it is truly incredible. And there are a lot of players who have said this prior to the hire that they would not have gone to LSU if it had not been for Frank Wilson. So the first thing is obviously getting Frank Wilson back is without a doubt a positive. Normally, I was going through and I was thinking about doing a Frank Wilson video. And normally I'm able to find something that you can poke a hole somewhere in a coach's resume. You just can't do it with Frank Wilson. The only thing you could say was that, well, he didn't have a good record as a head coach. Well, he's not going to be the head coach at LSU. So it's kind of a moot point. And you would kind of hope he didn't have a great record as a head coach, because I think Frank Wilson coming back to this job is partially him saying, look, I was the best at this job, at this school. Let me go back to doing that. And here's the thing. More than likely, Frank Wilson is getting a bag here. He's probably like $200K. I would doubt he is getting anything less than $350,000 to $500,000 to be this coach. Okay. So the bottom line is Frank Wilson definitely helps out as far as recruiting is concerned. Now, the second thing, with Alabama, Georgia, and A&M dominating recruiting, how can Coach Kelly put LSU back in the mix? Well, this is also very important as well. Focus on Louisiana, right? We've had a mixed bag of success finding players from other areas of the country, and more than half of the players that we actually do find that turn out to be good players end up leaving anyway, right? Think of the transfer portal and think of the players that have entered the transfer portal. How many Louisiana prospects have entered the transfer portal that have actually gotten playing time? There's not many. There's just not that many, right? When you really think about it, Eric Gilbert, not from Louisiana. Elias Ricks, not from Louisiana. Max Johnson, Dion Smith. These guys were starters and they're leaving anyway. So I think that obviously helps out Christian is to read on Louisiana. Now, as far as going after and getting the national recruits, the best thing you can do is just win, right? If you are one of those people that says, look, Carter, I understand Louisiana is great, but we do need to get players from other states. You're right. You do need other recruits from other states. We don't win the 2019 title if we don't have recruits from other states. Obviously, Joe Burrow, but, guys that you actually do recruit, most of our elite players on defense were from out of state, right? So, you have to find those guys as well. But the best thing you have to do is be able to win. So if you win, you're able to keep your staff, you're able to keep your head coach, and that's obviously really key as well. So winning will help you out as far as getting the Walter Nolans or the Chase-Ons or the Jacoby Stevens. top 50 guys from outside the state. So that obviously helps out. So hopefully that answers your question, Christian. But, as far as like right now, Frank Wilson, I think, is a home run hire. And I think it will probably be Brian Kelly's best hire. It's going to be hard to just get an OC or a DC that everyone here is going to agree with. But for the most part, getting Frank Wilson to be your associate head coach, because something else that Frank Wilson helps out is it does fill a major weakness of Brian Kelly in this position, which is the relatability with Louisiana, right? You get the guy who knows Louisiana better than anyone, which is Frank Wilson, to help something with Brian Kelly, which is something he's not going to be good at. He's not going to know Louisiana. He's not going to have the relationships like Frank Wilson has. So it's definitely going to help out with this cycle and cycles moving forward. Jared, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. I don't have enough self-control to drink frozen drinks. I almost fall frozen. Froggy, welcome to the channel. You suck. Froggy, I needed that confidence. I needed that, Froggy. Fruit, Louisiana. Tell me you're a drinker without telling me you're not a drinker. I'm honestly not a huge drinker, but I am a DAC machine fan. But not all daiquiri machines put out daiquiris. There's frozen margaritas that come out of those things as well. Good photo here, Mythic Monk. Thank you. I love it, man. Super dads on the channel. I love it. Christian, once again, thank you so much. Dwayne, what's good? We've been missing you, man. Good to see you. A&M dropping mad NIL. That is true. Let's see. Britt, I need you to change that Avi, baby. Here's a good Avi. Frank is not coaching waiting. Yeah, I don't think he's coaching waiting. I don't think that's the case. I could see him being the LSU head coach down the road, but I mean, if Brian Kelly's going to be here 10 years, I mean, that's just so far down the road. I think Tyrann Matthew is going to be our next head coach. I do, after Brian Kelly wins 5 titles. That would be my dream. Drive-through daiquiris better than daiquiri shop. Will, you have brought some heavy takes into this channel tonight. Well, I like it. Get your takes. I don't care how hot the takes are. This is a good one. I love those of people at LSU sporting events. And then you toss in someone really close to you. I also love dog photos. This is great. Shout out to you, Noah. Frank Wilson is a splash hire. Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that. I appreciate that. Dang, I'm still hurt by Froggy. I just think, I don't know. Guys, I think I got to shut down the channel after Froggy said this. I mean, how can I recover from Froggy? How? Like, how do I move on? How do I go to sleep at night? Let's go to Mythic here. With Johnson out, do you focus on Nuss Howard or do you go into the portal? Audio is choppy. Is it? Am I hitting? Type Y for yes if the audio's has it been choppy for anyone here? Let me know. Oh, the Wi-Fi has been choppy. Wi-Fi has been kind of weird. I don't know why I actually said for it, so I'm sorry. With Johnson out, do you focus on Nuss Howard or do you go into the portal? Okay. Has it been the internet or has it been the audio? Okay. Well, let me know. Has it been the mic cutting out or has it been just has it been a little? The audio? So, how many of you have seen this is what I need to know. How many of you have seen the video choppy or has it just been this cutting in and out? It's the internet? Okay. I apologize. Both. So I apologize. I really do. With Johnson out, do you focus on Nuss Howard or do you go into the portal? It's a good question. For me, I'll say this. Okay. I think for me, you should focus. I think you should focus on Nuss. And I think Walker Howard knows going into basically any situation, you're not going to start anywhere. But the bottom line is this, Mythic, um, is I don't know and Mythic, you've been watching me for a few weeks now. I know you've been with me for a little bit. And I know I've touched on this a few times over, right? But there have been so many bad roster decisions that makes me go nuts over the past year. Okay. And we had an entire off season to try and figure out some of these roster issues. Okay. So the first is obviously, I never understood not trying Joseph Evans on the offensive line. I never understood why we rotated wide receivers so often. Why do we rotate running backs so irregularly? Blah, blah, blah. It's strange, right? It's strange. But I'll never understand this red shirt thing. And I won't go too deep into it because I have a few times tonight. It just never made any sense. Now, I would like to go get a quarterback in the portal because it seems as if, whether this is an actual thing or not, every great quarterback we've ever had has come from the portal. Once again, that doesn't mean you can't groom your own quarterback. That doesn't mean you can't get your own quarterback from high school. But honestly, when you look at college football as a whole, more often than not, your better quarterbacks are the portal quarterbacks, right? Now, this year it just happened to be that most of the best quarterbacks in college football just happen to be at their school. So Matt Corral's been at Ole Miss, Bryce Young at Alabama. That list goes on and on. Sam Howell at North Carolina, whoever you want to mention. So most quarterbacks this year haven't been portal quarterbacks. But, yeah, I don't know what you do right now. There's not a quarterback in the portal that I'm just on fire about. But I do think there are some quarterbacks in the portal that would be better than going into next season with just Nuss and Howard, right? And some of that Mythic is bad quarterback development, right? Then Carrie's always going in on my haircut. My last haircut was good. Okay. Choppy internet. I apologize. What's funny was I actually reset the internet beforehand. Carter, I'm LA born and raised, but moved to Dallas. Dallas is a fun freaking city. Haley and I have talked about moving there. I love Dallas. It's good. I don't know if we have too many PHLers in Dallas. I know we have a lot in Texas. overall. Man, anytime I get to talk about Russell Shepard, I freaking love Russell Shepard. And the funny thing about Russell Shepard is I love him now more than I loved him when he played at LSU, because he got into the waste management business. And if you want a recession-proof job, start a porta potty business, which is essentially what he's done. And I follow everything he does on Instagram. It is ridiculous. I love people that do these jobs, which is why I legitimately was authentically happy earlier when we got a super chat earlier from Aaron, who was shouting out all the sailors, right? Sailor, it's a big job in Baton Rouge, right? It's a big job in Louisiana. So I'm dead serious. Russell Shepard should teach. He could make millions doing this. He should teach football players how to be successful, and just everyone how to be successful in business, right? So many, athletes want to get into broadcasting and want to get into different things, and that's great. And you can make a lot of money doing that. And I'm a broadcaster myself, right? But the good thing about getting into something that fixes major problems is that there's always a market for you, right? There's always going to be concerts. There's always going to be events. There's always going to need to be porta potties. It's just how it is. Let's go. Exactly. You would be shocked at how many. So when I worked in radio, I would have people reach out to me and ask me, Carter, because people call, if you work in radio, people call radio stations to see what all services are available in a town, right? Because in radio, you work with all these different businesses that advertise on your shows. I got asked so many times about waste management, right? So Van, there you go. Van is like mentioning every quarterback recruit from the early 2010s. I love it. Prestigious hairline. I don't understand. Why are y'all hating on my cuts? Saved up his NFL money and started a business. So I also say this. I knew Russell in college. Not well. We weren't like close friends or whatever, but I would see him from time to time, and he was a really nice guy too, right? I just freaking love Russell Shepard. I do. I have his rookie auto down in here. Thank you, Britt. Thank you. Jack Miller, Queen Ewers. Carter keeps contained on his edge like Sam Montgomery. Sam would keep contained. That is a very specific LSU reference. I love that, man. What's up, Preston? I'm telling you, man, Preston. You want to? I want to bring up about Preston. This was so fascinating to me. Okay, can someone? And I understand we're 2 hours in. We talk about different things 2 hours in. So Preston, obviously, really successful LSU media member. So Preston brought this up, and I remember this so vividly. Okay, so part of the reason why I want to abolish the early signing period. And I believe this is Preston's first time in our chat. Everyone, welcome, Preston. Who remembers the Bayou Bash? Okay. I think only people from Baton Rouge or have lived in Baton Rouge will remember the Bayou Bash. Okay. So we had this one day in February where, I think it was the Baton Rouge Event Center. I don't even remember where it was held, but it was in a big building. And I've done radio stuff there from before. I honestly don't remember where it actually was, but it was so huge. It was so awesome. Okay. Who remembers Bayou Bash? Okay. And Preston, you had some kind of funny comment where it was like, uh, we, what did you say? You said something like, on a random Wednesday, 50-year-old men would get mad over the decisions of 17-year-olds all in one day. Okay. But it's funny. I remember Bayou Bash. Something that remembers it. Yeah, I would like Russell Shepard to come on PHL. Slovis. The quarterback from USC. I like it. Gabriel's interesting. I do think he's going to end up at Ole Miss. Spencer Rattler, I just have no idea. Yes. Okay. So this is where it was. Thank you, Bob. And Bob, we need you to change the photo. Okay. It was at the Belle of Baton Rouge atrium. Okay. Let's see. I oftentimes long for that random Wednesday in February with absolute chaos. Have an absolute dude. Bayou Bash, it would be wild because there would be some people melting down. You got to see the best and the worst of LSU fandom all in one place, right? Literally had a fax machine on the table. But no, there would be people in there. So, like, think about it. Like, it's so National Signing Day always happens like on a Tuesday or always Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever. So, in order to go to the Bayou Bash, you would need to take off work. And if you were from Baton Rouge, you would have, get home. So you have to be a diehard LSU football fan to take off work to go to Bayou Bash. And legit, nothing is happening other than the recruits are signing on. And, if someone flipped at the last second, people would go nuts. I remember, if I don't want to get this mixed up, but I think it was Shiro Davis went to Texas. I remember a guy going absolutely berserk. Might have been someone else. Someone flipped last second, and there was a guy who had a freaking panic attack because one linebacker flipped at the last second. So wild. Okay. This was definitely top 3 meltdowns. Joe McKnight was definitely top 3. Okay. Joe McKnight, I'm trying to think. I think I will always think Landon Collins is number 1 simply because of the thing with the mother was obviously huge. So I think Landon Collins will always be number 1 because he went to Bama. Dylan Moses, not so much as Landon Collins. The Landon Collins thing was just so next level hatred. It was so bad. Leonard Fournette's. Yeah, I think I don't think Baton Rouge would exist in its current form if Fournette did not go to Baton Rouge, did not go to LSU. So Joe McKnight is definitely up there. I would say Landon Collins is number 1 though. Landon's number 1, right? Just because all the theatrics. You have Dari Noka, you have Landon Collins' mother. There was just a lot. There was a lot going on there. So yeah, I think that will always be number 1. Light years better than Jordan Jefferson? Hmm. Hmm. I mean, legit, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, the Gunner Keel was bad because he was quarterback. Didn't have the chest. Yeah, I would say Landon's number one. What do you guys think? The number one meltdown recruit was probably Landon Collins. Les Miles is offensive coordinator. I love that. I love the rim too. The crawhawk. I'm ready for it. Any scoop on the coordinator hires? I'll tell you this: Jim Knowles is off the board. Ohio State got him. Very interesting. Roby Prism, is that Academy Sports? Well, 2021 Prism hasn't even been released yet. But hit me up, Prism. I might need you to Prism. Roby, shoot me an email. You have my email. Shoot me an email. I want to know. Speedy Noyle was bad. That's true. It does help out that Speedy Noyle, I don't even know what happened to him. I know there was a viral TikTok of him. I shouldn't have gone to Texas A&M. Matthew, I agree with that. And welcome back. Towboat. Can't put your comment on the screen because you said the peach word. But I do agree with that. I hope so. That would be a very nice pickup. Another position coach from Louisiana. It's ridiculous how many great coaches from Louisiana are just everywhere, right? Texas staff, Louisiana guy. Georgia staff, Louisiana guy. Arkansas staff getting Brad Davis to come over. It's pretty wild. Yeah, Cam was pretty big. Cam was a pretty big meltdown. Chase, my love for Jeff Grimes knows no ends. It lose the Broyles Award to Josh Gaddis. I was fine with that. I think Gaddis deserved it. He called a near perfect game versus Ohio State, and he actually called another great game versus Iowa. Mark, welcome to the channel. Good to see you. No, Matthew, I could see that. I think Brian, more than likely, there was probably some type of message. But I'll also say this, Matthew, I did hear that there was going to be some movement this week. I didn't think Max Johnson was going to be packing his bags, but this is just something that, and you guys know I'm not a big inside information guy, but I did get some a tip that there was going to be some player exoduses. This happens. That's not even really a tip. It's just common sense, really. Players are going to leave. Good players are going to leave, right? Yeah, Saban was visiting Kendrick Law this week, so I understand that that's not going to make a lot of you really excited. Let Will Wade coach the defense. There we go. Oh, Logan Diggs, the New Orleans back. Has he played any this year, Will? I'm interested. Yeah, that would be bad. I think Will's going to sign, though. I don't think. I don't know. Yeah, Sofsher was a little bit of a meltdown. Sofsher was a little too much, right? Five for five. Jarrett Willis went to Florida. Who was Adams? Who was Adams? Wait, Logan Diggs became their number one back? Really? I've got to look this up. Hold on. There's no way. That's so freaking wild. I did not know Logan Diggs balled out. I'm telling you, 3-star Louisiana kids are built different. Wow. Wow. Dude, this should just be a rule. I did not know Logan Diggs was balling out. 42 carries, 200 yards, 3 TDs. It's pretty good, man. Let me see the game log. That's cool. I don't think he's become their number one back, but so he's not really balled out. But still, he's played. He's played a lot. That's cool. It's kind of weird though, right? So you bring in 2 running backs, Corey Kiner and Armani Goodwin, and they're way higher ranked than Logan Diggs, who was 503. The other 2 were top 150. Right? I'll say this. LSU should recruit every Rummel Raider that's a 3-star and above. Aaron Brule's turned out to be good. I mean, those kids are built freaking different at Rummel. They're built different. They're built freaking different. They're not like the rest of us. Whitney, welcome to the channel. They need to recruit Carr and Warren Easton. Let me think. Warren Easton. Adding the Carr, adding the Aaron Anderson, obviously. Warren Easton, that's just off the top of my head. Tyron Johnson. Love Tyron Johnson coming out. He was one of my favorite LSU receivers. Turned out to be pretty good, right? Just the Les Miles offense. That's true, Michael. Coy Moore. He was a good player. I think Coy Moore's going to be a good player. He's just not as good as the other guys, right? Yeah, Carl, he's in the portal now. Cy Clayton. This trucker has to lay it down, team. Well, good night to the Master Blaster. Some of this is probably true. And welcome, Ironhead 34. He was committed to LSU, Sean Washington. Destrehan, Jai Eugene's son. It's so crazy. Is their quarterback. There you go. The views in here tonight. I love it, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, guys. We are 2 hours and 19 minutes into this. We have 255 viewers, so I don't mind keeping this party going. But there are some other projects I have to get ready for tomorrow for your viewing pleasure. And I'll happily keep this chat moving if we keep getting super chats. I always say this. If not, in the next 5 minutes, feel free to ask any question. I'll try to answer as many as we possibly can. And we touched on Miles Brennan a little bit earlier, Harold. I think he's gone. Kaiser Sose. Huh? Do you know if someone commits out of the transfer portal, can they play in the bowl game? They cannot. Scott, welcome. Good to see you. We got to stop letting Bama take our players from the state. I think that's partially true. I think you should be more worried about Texas A&M, though, right? You don't want Texas A&M setting up shop. And so far, they've done that, right? We waited too long to recruit Jordan Gilbert. It's turned out to be a pretty decent turned out to be a really decent player for Texas A&M this year. I'm a big Jordan Gilbert fan. So yeah, and then of course they've done well. They have Le'Veon Moss. I don't know what Le'Veon Moss will end up doing. But they've done a really good job. And, you know, they're moving in on Jacoby Matthews. They got Bryce Anderson. He flipped from LSU to A&M. So, and he's not from Louisiana, but still, you know, A&M is someone you got to be a little more worried about. Alabama's going to get there. Sometimes it's going to be in Louisiana. Sometimes it's going to be from around the country. I disagree with this. Anytime you lose a quarterback who can start for you, it's a massive deal. Okay. I've been getting a lot of AJ Allen. You know, it's interesting, right? AJ Allen obviously has Will Campbell blocking for him, so it makes it easier. But and their other tackle is apparently pretty good. But I've gotten a lot of questions about AJ Allen. 865. Good to have you in here tonight, Carl. Hope to see you around. Thank you for the super chat earlier. Quinn Ewers might end up at LSU. Sure. We got someone Denver Harris. I wouldn't call players decommitting fools. They're not fools. I hope so, Hitman. We'll see. Hugh Freeze for OC. I don't think he's leaving Liberty. He just signed an extension. I read a little bit that AJ Allen might get recruited here at the end by LSU. No running backs in the class, so you need somebody, right? Got some Tony Brown chatter in here. Peyton Manning, new offensive coordinator. I don't know about that. JJ was a 3-star. Once again, I need all you, especially some of our regular viewers. Andrew, welcome to the channel. I'm sorry I missed your comment here. If you're still here, I'll answer this really quickly. Wouldn't be surprised if Woodward has NIL deals lined up before the early summer period for recruit. Has had 7 weeks to plan all this out, and I feel like LSU has organized plan for once. Good administration now. Yeah, we'll see how the NIL plays into this. Obviously, I think a lot of people are going to be copying Texas to what they did. So we'll see. That's funny, Reed. No, we always go about 3 hours in live streams. I know nothing about London Williams from Manning, Louisiana. I know they have a really good linebacker for the next cycle. I don't know what the deal. I don't know what happened to AJ Johnson. I know he transferred. What's up, Blanche? Yeah, we talked about Frank a little bit earlier. I'm pretty excited about him coming back. Locked on SEC. My guy, Chris Gordy. What's good? Thank you, Blanche, for the super chat. So we'll be hanging out, you guys. Thank Blanche for always stepping up. Also, Blanche, I know you've been going through a lot. Shoot me an email. I still have a bunch of stuff for you that I'm going to send you, including a booger band. I still have one more, and it's just for you, okay? I still got to order more, but I'm going to send you a booger band, Blanche. So don't forget, Blanche. I don't think I've gotten your email yet. powerhourlsu@gmail.com. I want to send you some stuff. So yeah, we'll talk about Frank for a little bit. Welcome Chris Gordy in here. So yeah, as far as Frank Wilson is concerned, Blanche, I know you've really enjoyed the early 2010 LSU football teams. Even though we didn't win a national championship, those teams were really good. We pumped out so many great players. And obviously Frank Wilson coming back is huge. And this is my big thing about Frank that I really, really, really like a lot is not only his ability to land the big fish, the white whale recruits, the Fournettes, the Malachi Duprees, the Jarvis Landrys. The bigger thing was what he did with 3-star recruits, Foster Moreau, Duke Riley, Donnie Alexander. A lot of these role players that turned out to be really good players for us. Frank was a big reason why we got him. And yeah, I give Frank Wilson a lot of credit. I mean, his success, his scouting ability, his personal skills, just amazing. He's just really, really, really good, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah, there you go, Blanche. I'm always with you, my guy. You supported me. I'm here to support you. I got some stuff I want to send you, my friend. Chase was actually the last order of booger band. So, Chase, you have a very, very precious package heading your way. If you had to take a guess on who the OC and DC will be, who will they be? Not your hope, but who do you think we'll end up with? That's a tough question. Chase, let me start with who I think some Brian Regan for you. Defensive coordinator will be. I'm gonna go with Durante. I do think Durante will end up being the guy. As far as the offensive coordinator is concerned, I don't know. I know some people have thrown Jeff Lebby's name out there. Don't see it. As far as who Brian Kelly would go after, I really have no idea. I just don't. I think what's going to be more interesting, Chase, is what is the price point going to be for that offensive coordinator? I don't know. I mean, if you're going to get someone that's currently at a school that's a good offensive coordinator and you want them to come over, you're going to have to pay that person what you were paying Jake Peets, which is what, like 1.2, 1.3 million. You probably have to pay it more than that. So it'll probably be 1.5, 1.6 million. So we'll see. Plum is a Jeff Lebby guy. My grandson went to bed early, and I finally get to watch a live stream instead of catching it the next day. There you go. Shout out to not only all the dads of PHL, but all the super dads. And Micah, thank you so much for the generous super chat. I appreciate you, Micah. I'm looking at you, Micah. Thank you. So, what's the news on John Emery Jr.? Does he have a chance next year? Sorry if I missed anything. There really is no news, right? I think there's a piece of John Emery that just wants to try his hand at the NFL and just have some team take a chance on his raw athletic ability and his recruiting score. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Okay. Let me ask this question for the chat. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Do you think John Emery will be back next season for LSU? And yes, as many of you are pointing out, Levy's probably going to go to Oklahoma. We'll see. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm not sold on Levy either. I don't think schematically he's going to fit in all that well with BK. Okay, we're in this poll right here. No, we're getting Evans. I like that. Emery. No Emery. Yeah, Blanche, you were never an Emery guy. So here's what I'll say. Chase says why. I like it. Micah says why. Okay. So let me share this about John Emery. Okay, I did a deep dive of John Emery earlier this offseason. Okay. I love John Emery's raw athletic ability. I love, obviously, his high recruiting ranking. Comes from Destrehan, a really storied program, right? And obviously, John Emery really likes LSU. Okay. The LASIK surgery he had after his freshman year, and then after his sophomore year, the pandemic really hit him hard, hit his family hard. But obviously, the MO on John Emery is you can never rely on him, right? This is a very important question for people here that are big John Emery fans. He has never had a single carry in a crunch time competitive spot. It's rarely happened. Okay. Normally in crunch time, obviously, as a true freshman, it was Clyde. But even then, if it wasn't him, it was TDP or Chris Curry. And then this past year in crunch time, it was, or in 2020, it was TDP or Chris Curry. And then this past year, when we really needed John Emery, no, he was nowhere to be found. Part of your best ability is availability. And John Emery's had a lot of injuries. Pass protection is an issue with him. Sometimes he'll have a spectacular pass protection rep. Sometimes he won't, right? So, yeah, there's a lot. I would like to see him come back. I know he is itching for his opportunity to play for LSU, but there's those question marks. I do think he should have been eligible to play. These academic things are just so inconsistent about which players actually are eligible. I don't know. Something else about LSU, we did have a lot of academic issues because Jontre Kirkland wasn't eligible. Then Sony Fanua wasn't eligible to start the year. As you guys saw, Sony Fanua was a really good player for us when he actually played. So it sucks. It really, really sucks. Scott says no. If we get Joe Brady, JJ will tear it up in that offense. Maybe. That's the thing. We just don't know. LSU dudes always leave too early, while Bama guys usually stay and improve their draft stock. Kelly needs to change the culture. Okay, so which LSU guys left too early in recent years? Okay. Which LSU guys have left too early in the past 4-5 years? He's Christian McCaffrey. That's an interesting photo of your dog. That made me laugh. Scott, good to see you. Andy Ludwig, is that the basketball player? I knew Andy. No, Michael Brockers he made the right decision to leave early. It was a top 15 pick. Utah's offensive coordinator would be very interesting. Utah's a fun team to watch, right? God. I don't know if I was Miami, if I'd be on fire about Mario Cristobal. Get down. The way that they got beat down 2 separate times is wild to me. Branson, our Ponchatoula connection. What do you think of Omarion Walker? I'd be very interested. A current Notre Dame commit. I think you mean Deion Smith, but shout out to Deion Jones. Yeah, he did look really good. Deion Smith. Oh, Andy Ludwig is Utah's offensive coordinator. No, I'm thinking Eddie Ludwig. I was thinking Eddie Ludwig. Out that boot. Yeah, you were right about that. Mario is an elite recruiter. I like this photo. Casino Boy Kefis. It's cool. Andy Ludwig. Dude, Branson has been talking up this Braden Johnson kid. He can really play. Calling it now, Cincinnati will be victorious. Blanche, it's a good question. I'm really excited about it. Right? 2 of the best offensive coordinators, Levy and Grimes. Well, hopefully not coaching the game, because hopefully Levy goes to Oklahoma and we get Grimes. But yeah, it should be a fun one. I used to go, you know what's funny, Blanche? I used to go to the Sugar Bowl every year. I've been to like 15. I remember my first one was Kurt Kittner versus us. Kurt Kittner and the Fighting Illini versus LSU. If Cincy wins, Jeremy Hill owes me 200 push-ups on air. We need Jay Hill back in the chat. Yeah, Chase, I don't think anyone is going to be licking their chops to get backs in the portal. That's the thing. That's the thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Yeah, Andrew, I don't know. Obviously, money always helps with any recruit, but we'll see. Wildcat for the bowl game. Malachi Dupree, absolutely. Lloyd Cushenberry left too early. He's a third-round pick, and he's a starter. Once again, I said in the past few years, Dupree was 2014, 2015. He left early after 2016. So 5 years ago, I'll take that. So I'll give you Malachi Dupree. He should have stayed, absolutely. Could have went higher and got more money. Phillips and Shelvin could have stayed another year and improved stock. Don't agree on Tyler Shelvin. When the defense changed from a 4-3 to a 3-4, that he's a 3-4 nose, right? So there was no point in him coming back. Phillips, I could definitely see. I agree with you on that. Phillips probably should have come back. But I could see it. Nah, I get it. Cool stuff, Andrew. I appreciate that, man. Man, Ant is like our high school expert right here. I need to watch more Braden Johnson. Branson sent me a bunch of clips, and I've watched some of them. But apparently, Braden Johnson is like Leonard Fournette. I got to check him out. I don't know, Branson. I don't. Tony, they do. Or if they don't, it would be news to me. Yeah, so guys that should have come back an extra year, Malachi Dupree for sure, Anthony Johnson for sure. Those were two really egregious ones. I'm just trying to think of who else left too early. I just don't know. I honestly don't know. 504. There you go. I like it. Kevin Tolliver is a good one. I agree with that. But really, in recent years, I think everyone has made pretty sound decisions. Yeah, I could see that. Let's see. Yeah, Anthony Johnson was a really bad one. I don't know who's giving him advice. That was really bad. I think an extra year of college would have done wonders for him. But yeah. Well, all right, guys. Obviously, we'll do this again. Okay. We were going to end this a few minutes ago. Blanche super chatted, so we continued the party. So let's do it again. Okay. I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can in the next 5 minutes. I know a lot of you are just joining. I never like to end this thing. I'd rather go all night. But we'll keep this going. So if you do super chat in the next 5 minutes, we'll keep this live stream going. If not, I'll answer as many. Let's see. Where did Christian Lacouture end up? I know he's doing some personal coaching, but he got into sales. So he still does a lot of work with current LSU players. He did a lot of work with Mason Smith recently. This is a good one, Sadiq Charles. I don't know what his NFL situation is right now. Sadiq also was in a rough spot. Paris, thank you so much. Sadiq Charles is in a rough spot because the drug policy. He hated the drug policy at LSU and he was suspended a lot. So that was I think that was part of the reason that weighed into his decision. So yeah, I would agree. Sadiq Charles probably left too early. So there you go, Paris. You get to pick the next topic. Yeah, Anthony didn't live up to the hype. Yeah, Anthony Freak Johnson is definitely one of the most hyped players I can remember that didn't live up to it. Now, I'll say this. He was second team All-SEC his final year. Some of that was due to him having the name and the hype surrounding it. If he would have come back an extra year, he would have dominated, right? It can do wonders, and he probably would have been a second or third round pick. Something else is that in the NFL, if you're exceptional, you're going to be able to stay in the NFL. But what a lot of NFL players will tell you is your draft grade and where you're drafted does go a long way in how other teams perceive you as well. So, yeah, there is a danger in leaving too early. No, he made the right decision. If you're a second round pick, it's hard to get that much higher on draft boards, especially at wide receiver. So yeah, and there was really nothing else for Terrace to prove. He was, if you're exceptional one year, it's kind of hard to improve on exceptional. And Terrace Marshall was exceptional his final year at LSU. Paris, NBA, and some college hoops. I love it. And Terrace did have the medical, right? He was injured at 2 different times in his career, which is a major red flag. Once in high school and then once as a sophomore. So Jontre Kirkland could play quarterback. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what LSU's going to do. Yeah, Deion Smith is going to have a lot of suitors. What's really interesting about Deion Smith that really sucks for this young man is that he got hurt at the absolute most unluckiest time to get hurt. He got hurt his 5th game of the season. I wish he would have gotten hurt his 4th game, so he could have gotten the extra year of eligibility. So I do feel for that young man now that he only has 3 years of eligibility left based off of one game. Sucks. It does suck, right? Especially at wide receiver where you can kind of play around that. But still. Isn't Kirkland finished? Well, no, he gets to play this final game. So he might play quarterback this final game. I don't know what LSU's going to do. I don't. I saw Parrish bring up. Peter Parrish is what really screwed us. Bet you Peter Parrish is sitting somewhere saying, God, I really screwed up my opportunity. And he did. Now, Real Madrid fans. I just DJ'd a wedding, though, for a Real Madrid fan, so. Yeah, something else about Terrace Marshall. Can we really say anything about Terrace Marshall when Sam Darnold is your quarterback? My question, to be honest, I'm really not sold on the Brian Kelly hire. I don't think he fits the culture. I wanted a minority hire and someone young. Kelly is 60. Kelly is not a true culture fit. I don't know. I'll say this. I know a lot of people feel this. I know some people feel this way. I think most people like the Brian Kelly hire. There is some concerns about Brian Kelly's age and him being from the North and not the South Louisiana guy when Billy Napier was right up the road, and his best coaching is ahead of him. And Dave Aranda, obviously fits LSU. I also think hiring someone like Frank Wilson today obviously helps out with that, right? That is someone who fits the culture. That is someone who is only 48. That is someone who definitely fits the culture. I also think culture's, a little overrated, because if you do win, it does help, right? So look, hiring Frank is a big deal. That definitely helps out, right? Also, something else that I do think is pretty important is that your head coach doesn't deal with the players individually as much as you probably think that they do, right? That's why you have these associate head coaches, and you have these position coaches, and you have analysts. There are so many moving parts. So, was Brian Kelly my first choice? No, he wasn't. Do I think he's a fine choice? Yeah, I definitely do think he's fine. There's some things that I do worry about, right? And, we're going to do a full Brian Kelly deep dive. Obviously, these coordinator hires are going to be something, Pierce, I'm going to be very interested in. I also think this is going to be very key as well. Fourth down decision making. So I'm doing a deep dive on Brian Kelly's fourth down decision making, and it's a little up in the air. So, yeah, I don't know if Frank's going to have a position coach. We'll see. What are the chances some of these guys could be talked back? I don't know. Obviously, it comes down to personal decision. Yeah, I think it's a great choice, but I don't know. It doesn't seem right. I do agree with that final point. It does seem weird that Brian Kelly is the LSU head coach, right? And I'm not talking about the overblown fake Southern accent thing. I'm not talking about any of that. It's just weird, right? Now, I'm happy they chose Brian Kelly. He's obviously got an amazing track record, and he is still hungry to actually win a national championship. But it does feel strange. I can't help but see that, right? That a man who's coached in the North for his entire life, Brian Kelly, is coming to Baton Rouge, right? Which is why you've seen all the funny gumbo memes and all that. So we'll see. Welcome to the channel, Kaka. TDP to the NFL. I could see it. I think he will. I would love Elias Ricks back. Let's see. Miles Brennan. Yeah, I think some of that is happening right now. I do think LSU is kicking the tires on it. One thing that I did find interesting, okay, Miles Brennan, could he come back? This to me is the most interesting thing about Max Johnson leaving, okay? So Max Johnson was the starting quarterback for LSU, okay? And Miles Brennan was hurt. So it was pretty well known JJ, night. We'll see you, man. But here's something very interesting about Max Johnson. Okay. So Miles Brennan gets hurt. And Max Johnson takes over the iconic role of being the LSU quarterback 2 years after Joe Burrow. Okay. So this is what's really key. How many Max Johnson NIL things did you see? Right? Max Johnson, I didn't see him do many NIL things. Miles Brennan, on the other hand, got some really good NIL deals. He got Raising Cane's. He got Hollingsworth. So it's very, very, very fascinating. And I understand Max struggled the first game versus UCLA. And there might be some NIL things that I didn't see. But it was very strange how much Miles Brennan got and how little Max Johnson got, just from my perception. Once again, there's not a ledger of all the NIL deals that a player has. I don't think anyone's really kept public record of how many NIL deals that Miles get, or Max, or Garrett, or whoever. But it is fascinating. It really is. So, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, we are touching that 3-hour mark. So, yeah, if you super chat again, I'll keep it going. Miles is BK's type of quarterback. Would really not be surprised if he is on this list to bring back or recruit. Simper, you got to give me some crawfish first. Surprised you haven't invited me down to Lafayette for some crawdaddies. For some crayfish, as Jarrett likes to say. Miles is BK's type of QB. Would not be surprised if he tops this list. I could see it. Can you play QB? Semper? I thought we were closer than that. Will, welcome to the channel. Welcome. Kaka, welcome to the channel. We still have 209 people in here. It's cool. If it is your first time here, please let me know. Will is reporting Miles registered at University of Southern Miss last weekend. There you go. Will's got sources. I could see Southern Miss for Miles. Bang Hammers, first time. Will Gilly, first time. Welcome, man. Brennan is going fishing or water skiing. He might not be able to. Sip G's at work. Boom. Let's see. We got another first-time viewer. Beginner to expert pro HVAC. So what is HVAC? I'm curious. With Wilson back, don't worry, we putting the fence BK around the boot. Believe that. I love it. HVAC is like I'm 3 hours in. Someone help me out here. Welcome to the channel. I love names like this. Beginner to expert pro HVAC. We have a lot of new viewers just joining in here at the end. So if you are new, once again, please subscribe to the channel. We do live streams every Tuesdays and Saturdays. We're working on a new project that'll be on this channel as well. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Welcome to the channel. Heating and air conditioning. I hate that you're joining so late. We've had so much fun tonight. But yes, you are right for sure. Frank Wilson is going to do some great things. Dang, we got a bunch of HVAC experts in here. Jarrett, Whoopapi, Simper. I like that. I like to see our ventilation is. I love it. Well, all right, guys. This was fun. We're going to see you again soon. We'll probably have a video out tomorrow. Sucks. Hit it for Max. I wish him the best wherever he goes. And we'll talk to you soon. Follow me on Twitter at Carter the Power. But yes, you can always find me here. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. You're right about this, John Sibley. Oh, you changed your photo too. I like the update. It's free agency. And tonight we're doing some beef lo mein. Let's go.